Shalom, this is Nazama Shalhamana Bar Yasharal. On my channel, Nazama, the Hebrew Mystic Healer. Before we get started, as always, I'd like to show some love to my 3D kin, the 12 tribes of Israel, the Hebrew Israelites scattered to the four corners of this third dimensional earth plane of existence. Much love and shalom to you. I also like to show some love to my cosmic kin, the Nibiru, the primordials, the Annunaki scattered to the 12 dimensions of this universal cosmic egg matrix. Much love and shalom to you as well. And as always, show some appreciation to my viewers for their support, especially those of you who are subscribed. If you've not yet subscribed, please do so now, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Also, if you like this video, be sure to let me know by giving it a like. It does help, guys. Thank you. So I've been ruminating the past week about various topics that have been coming up, awarenesses, layers of conscious awareness I've been experiencing, certain revelations. I've gone through 3 different names of various aspects of myself, going all the way back to the beginning. Specifically my Annunaki past life name I've received, and my indigenous ancestors also named me for this lifetime for the purpose that I have. I went through a naming ceremony with that. And then I received a new name today, which was related beyond my first primordial emanation, but the actual true soul expression that's still residing in the void that is me, that is I, the I am, or me, or we. And this was really interesting because I started speaking first in what I was told was a Sirian language, even though my first incarnation in this universe was in Orion. I also have had plenty of Sirian incarnations. And I started speaking in one of my Sirian dialects, and it was interesting because it was when I was contemplating doing my second video for the Hidden History of the Universe Part 2 for my Orion Council of 9. But the Sirian aspect of my DNA spoke up and said something in Sirian. And afterward, I spoke out loud Sanskrit. I don't speak Sanskrit. What I do in this incarnation at least, is I will speak out loud certain languages that I have spoken in other lifetimes, but not in this one. And my soul will kind of feel what it means, and I'll get the definition for it, and then I'll go out and I'll research it, and I'll be able to find pretty much that confirmation. So even within the Sirian language, the original languages of the celestial realm were there was actually one core language that we all spoke at one point in time when we were incarnating down here. But basically, in a nutshell, all of the celestial languages have certain words that we speak now, scattered among our tongues or among our languages. So you can actually usually find out, even if you don't know what you're speaking, if you start speaking a light language from, what I call light language anyway, when you're dealing with the celestial realm, from a certain soul star expression, you can usually verify what it means by going on Google Translate, as weird as it sounds. And you'll see how a lot of times the words you're speaking are actually made up of various different languages, and when you piece it all together, you'll actually get the phrase or the sentence that it means. Now, what I do is I go within first, and then I get the meaning, and then I go and I look it up, and I get the external confirmation, which is how I operate. In this particular case, I don't want to share too much about what I was shown because I like to keep a lot to myself, but there was one particular experience that happened that I was told I need to share. So basically, in a nutshell, the Sanskrit version that I got. I'm not going to say what the actual words were, but it basically means the black one, or the primordial one, or the black sea, or the black liquid. But basically, in a nutshell, it just basically means the black one, or the primordial one. And I went in the shower afterward, because I received all this while I was out sitting in the sun, taking in that solar energy. And so I decided, after sitting in the sun, I was going to take a shower. When I was in the shower, I started communicating with this part of myself, and I could see that this is where I existed in my full form, and that I had emanated out at various levels of dimensions of consciousness, projecting out that formation of consciousness in all of these lives. And that these lives were constructions of my own conscious reality. These realms were that construction. My lives were that construction. So yes, they all existed, but they were illusions. They were dreams within a dream. That's kind of what I was sensing. Now, I didn't sense anything specific until I stepped in the shower. So I stepped into the shower, and I was talking to my, I always say my first primordial emanation, but this was beyond that. This was like my primordial consciousness before any emanation. Like, this was me, like the core me, real me. And the void of the all, the still point. And I was tuning into that, and they kept saying, I say they because it was like multiple aspects of myself speaking out at once, kept saying that name in Sanskrit, and kept saying over and over again that we are this. And they were like, are you ready to wake up? You're in an illusion. Which I'm already aware of that, because when I had my Kundalini awakening, I saw basically that whole process. But I technically didn't fully wake up or ascend or become enlightened, because I'm still down here in the matrix. So I digress back to what occurred. So I'm standing in the shower, and I hear this, and I go, yes, I'm ready. I want to see, I want to break the illusion. I want to wake up. So after I say that, all of a sudden everything gets real etheric, and I see myself, and I'm in another body, and I'm green, and I have 4 fingers on each hand, long with claws, and my arms are thinner than they're here, and I can see out of the corner of my eye this metal contraption on the right side of my head, along, like on the top part, my head and neck. And I start seeing this, and I'm looking at my hands, and I can see that contraption on the corner of my eye, and then all of a sudden I feel in my physical body in this realm on earth, I feel myself slipping in the shower. And I catch myself, which brings me back to my body. And then I hear, you're not ready. And it hit me, and then I realized what just happened. Like, I would have died in the shower. If I wouldn't have caught myself, I would have died in the shower. I would have left this state of consciousness, and I would have returned to the next state, or the next level, or the next dream within a dream, in the awakening process. And that was really eye-opening for me. I realized that at another level, another dimensional level of myself, and another existence, my avatar is quite different, and I'm actually in some sort of induced coma which puts me here at this level of illusion reality, this virtual reality. But even in that form I had, although it was, more real, I could sense it was still a dream within a dream, because I could still feel that my true self was outside of all of this. And I started to think back on a few periods of my life since I've been here where I was really afraid, when I was at this breaking point of total ascension, and I would just freak out and hold on to my body. And that's what made me realize that for me, what's keeping me here is fear of leaving this place, and the sense of feeling like I have something I have to do here. This unfinished business now, is that an illusion as well? Or is it just that when I'm ready, I simply wake up, I simply open my eyes, and I wake up through all these layers of consciousness back to my state. I know I will return to my primordial state, to the void, at the all. So I just felt like I was supposed to share this with you guys. It reminded me so much of that movie Inception, and it's really true. It really shows, not only is it literally true in that it shows that even at our 3D level, we can actually do that, incept one another's dreams, because the government actually has 4D tech that can do that. So not only can it be a literal interpretation, but it's also symbolic. It's a metaphor for, what the Hindus, for example, call, the Maya, the illusion. And they believe in that Brahman state where we are the Atman, or the aspects of the ultimate reality down here in these different dimensions with our consciousness. But really, they're layers of illusion. It's different variations of sleep and dreaming. So it was interesting, and it really had me realize that it's true what Buddhism says and what Hinduism says. It's not that I haven't had these types of revelatory moments before, but it all starts to stack up and form a clear picture. But it is true what Buddhism and Hinduism says about us keeping ourselves on the wheel. We are the ones that keep ourselves in the wheel. We're the ones that can break the wheel. It's not that there aren't other aspects of consciousness down here that don't try to keep us at a certain level. It's all part of that game, so to speak, that virtual reality, so to speak. But it's up to us to really wake up. It's up to us to open our eyes. And I'm realizing that when we do, at least for myself, when I wake up, I'm going to shed this avatar. I'm going to shed this skin. And I'm going to wake up with my consciousness more focused in the next reality. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't already exist there at some level, but I'm dreaming in these other states. I'm asleep, I'm dreaming. And down here, I'm the actual dream. It's like a video game. It literally is like that, where we have projected our consciousness in all these layers of dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. And we have to wake up. It's like leveling up. We have to wake up at each level. And there is this point where we can literally just wake up in all levels at once. It's like the fast track. So it reminded me of when I had my Kundalini awakening, when my primordial dragon self was trying to take me on a journey, get me to leave my body. And who knows, I probably could have just died then and ascended, and I would have been out of here. But out of fear, I didn't go. Or when I was a teenager, shortly after I had converted to Christianity, after I moved in with my biological father, I was sitting there and, my primordial self had spoke to me similarly then. I didn't recognize it. I thought it was God, which, divine self. But saying, are you ready to see into the spiritual realm? now I had caught glimpses my whole life of, seeing ghosts, seeing, different types of dark forms and fae and all kinds of things when I was young. But I had never had the veil just totally drop, where everything was exposed in its fullness and its full state and glory. And so that happened. The veil dropped, and I lost my sense of center. All these dimensions, it's almost like everything just turned to sacred geometric shapes and light and liquid. And I felt dizzy, and I felt like everything was not solid. And I was like, no, I'm not ready. And everything just went back to that physical form. This reminded me of that, My primordial consciousness is asking me, are you ready, to wake up? And I'm like, yes. And then when it starts happening, I, out of fear, hold on to this existence. Same thing by Kundalini awakening. So I now see that fear is what holds me here. And the fear is really driven from the sense of the unknown, being afraid of the unknown, even though I've had all of these experiences, even though I've accessed, all in these spiritual realms, these akashic records. There's still that fear of the unknown, and also that sense that I have unfinished business here as well, that is holding me here, that I hold myself here. So I do think that that's also part of the journey itself, and that realization that we are each responsible for our own awakening. Now many of us are awakening right now, but as I've said in my more recent video, if we're still physically here, we're not awake. Because if we were awake, we would be fully conscious outside of this dimension, not in this dimension. And this experience I had really verifies that. So I just felt it was important to share. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it to be enlightening. I hope it resonated. Take care. Shalom.